Hello everyone. Welcome to another Data Zen Greece community event. This is the first event of the GenAI From Idea to Reality series. I think we can move to the next slide. And this first event of the series will be focusing in applications for the energy, oil and gas industry. During this wider series, we will be trying to build a GenAI focus in the community, to share knowledge between us, to introduce practical applications, develop our skills, and to encourage innovation in this very, very exciting field. My name is Apostolos Labropoulos. I have been working in data projects for the past 20 years in the international setup, undertaking different roles. I'm very glad to welcome Dimitris Vertakos, who is going to be our main speaker for today. Dimitris has been working on, again, the data analytics field for the last 15 years as a delivery manager, Scrum leader, subject matter expert in the areas of ML and AI across different industries. And obviously, energy, oil and gas is one of his strong suits. Dimitri?
Hi, Apostoli. Nice to be here.
Perfect. Also, since you're here, you will be accustomed to our Data Zen Greece community. If you're not familiar with this yet, in the next slide, I encourage you to join us and collaborate with us, probably in a future event, be a speaker or a contributor. Within the Data Zen Greece community, we are able to share experiences, gain knowledges, understand how a project is run, get acquainted to state-of-the-art bleeding-edge technologies, and also discuss the business value of data projects and how to realize value from them. So without further ado, let's discuss our agenda for today. So what are we going to be talking about today is GenAI, specifically in the energy, oil and gas areas. And we have three sections in this event for today. We're going to be talking about why somebody should be interested in the GenAI in general, what are some applications that we can leverage on, and how can we go about implementing this at a high level. So the first pillar, the why, we're going to be discussing items like the impact that GenAI has in general and in the field. What is the market adoption in the industry? What are some strategic benefits that we can leverage? And then in the what section, we're going to be looking into some specific use cases when it comes especially to predictive maintenance, investment analytics, knowledge-based and decision support, and market intelligence. And finally, we're going to be discussing about how. Obviously, GenAI is a fairly new thing. It might be daunting to a lot of people. Let's discuss also a bit about how somebody can go about justifying this investment within his organization, and what are the steps that an organization should take in order to tackle this. So without further ado, let's start with the why side, with the why somebody should be interested in this. And as you can see in what we're showing in the screen currently, this fuss, this trend regarding GenAI is very justifiable, right? So we see that 40% of working hours across industry can be impacted by LLMs, by GenAI, and significantly reduced. Dimitri, how do you see the positioning of energy within this statistic that we see here?
Well, I see it a little bit positive because it's not in the upper threshold, but not in the lower threshold. So that means that many steps already taken in terms of AI, but many steps also to be taken. So it seems to be a very interesting future, especially for energy, oil and gas.
Yes, it's definitely promising, and definitely there is a lot of room for any oil and gas industry company to use LLM for further advancing at this stage. So next, what we would like to discuss is adoption and market size. So as you will see in this slide, energy, oil and gas industry is following a similar trend like other industries. You see that this bell-shaped curve where you have 20% of the companies that is early adopters. They have already used GenAI and they have made it a part of their operations, whereas there is almost 30% of the companies that are partially using this, and there is this almost 20% of companies that are laggers and potentially will wait for the early adopters to gain some competitive advantage against them before they enter this market. This is normal for any new technology, but I guess that the companies that enter late in this Gen AI trend potentially will be missing out on this competitive advantage, right? What is very important is what we see on the right-hand side regarding the overall market size. And this is specifically for the oil and gas industry at the global level. Dimitri, what do you think about this one?
Well, numbers don't lie, right? So it's a very, very good potential. Within the decade, 3 times more. So it's really, really nice projection. Hopefully it will be true.
Let's see. Some other statistics show that this is potentially an even larger market. Let's see where if this trend continues. So what does it mean regarding the oil and gas industry in specific? So what we understand from our experience is that GenAI is actually redefining the industry in several ways, including efficiency and innovation. So GenAI actually elevates the energy strategy that possesses extensive industry data, internal and external, and can capitalize on those to provide deep insights to inform to gain and derive informed strategic decisions. Regarding energy operations, GenAI can streamline this part as well by automating complex value chain processes, upstream and downstream, and optimize the usage of the resource within the organization, specifically in predictive maintenance that we will discuss in a bit as well. Finally, when it comes to energy innovation, GenAI will transform this area as well by introducing sophisticated modeling across the industry and pioneer breakthrough innovations and discoveries. So I'm pretty sure that you will get some more understanding when Dimitris will be introducing the use cases in a bit. But before we go there, let's clarify a bit in the next slide when we're discussing about GenAI and how this complements with advanced analytics. So advanced analytics are in several organizations are already there. So we see nonetheless that GenAI use cases can generate a very big potential on top of analytics. Dimitri, any comments on this one?
Yeah, kind of expected, right? I mean, all of these are great activities. I mean, advanced analytics, machine learning, AI, Gen AI, all of them are under the same, let's say, data science umbrella. So it's very nice that you see that advanced analytics, machine learning, and stuff are evolving to something more sophisticated, which can boost actually the data science base up to, I will not say specific number, but up to a certain percentage of evolution.
Yes, and these technologies are not mutually exclusive by any means. It's very obvious that GenAI builds on top of advanced analytics to provide the over and above the extra mile when it comes to business use cases that a company can capitalize on. So since we're talking about use cases, let's, Dimitri, the floor is yours. Let's discuss the first one that we have planned.
Okay. Thanks, Apostoli. Of course, all the use cases that we are going to mention, they are not only those, but we selected some of high-profile use cases in order to discuss. So let's start with predictive maintenance for equipment. So imagine a scenario that our equipment could tell us when it is about to fail, right? So it will not be a movie or something. It's the power of predictive maintenance. We are going to analyze historical data, sensor readings, and other relevant factors, and predict potential issues. And the gain to all that is in many ways. Predictive maintenance, it will enhance the reliability of foreseeing failures in advance. So we are going to work proactively, not reactively. A very good example for this failure prediction is this Predicts platform. They use in widely AI to monitor industrial machines. So a couple of months ago, they successfully predicted a turbine blade failure, which before it happened. So they save significant downtime and repair costs. Predictive maintenance also optimizes resource by scheduling maintenance during planned downtimes. So as you see, it minimizes operational disruptions. Shell, for example, use predictive maintenance in their oil rings. So they're reducing maintenance costs, extending possibly the oil rings lifespan, and in the rest of their assets. And last but not least, safety increase, which is quite crucial. Safety is paramount. Predictive maintenance can identify potential hazards before they even escalate. So this is very useful not only in the energy sector, but I would say that most useful is in the aviation industry, for example. Delta Airlines, for example, uses predictive maintenance to monitor their aircrafts. So they increase safety, they increase their ability to address issues before they even become critical.
Yes, and this is very important, especially when you're mentioning such safety crucial cases, Dimitri. But what I'm wondering here is that predictive maintenance is a somewhat mature market already. And apart from some companies that still rely on manual processes to do their predictive maintenance, to do their maintenance instead of being predictive, there are other solutions as well based on data science and machine learning that are already out there in the market and have been tested for several years, producing very reliable results. What is the difference that GenAI brings to the table on top of these ML solutions?
Yep. Indeed, this is a very good question and a very good comment. Indeed, there are, let's say, three velocities of predictive maintenance. The old-fashioned maintenance, as you said, I mean, relying reactive or schedule approaches, address issues only after they occurred, and activities similar to that. This is the first velocity. The second velocity is the way that we were doing things till now, before AI, meaning that we were able to analyze vast amount of data. We were able to identify anomalies, patterns, maybe even forecast. What we are gaining here with the usage of GenAI is to combine things, to able to use and predict more complex and sophisticated forecasts. We have not only an anomaly detection, we have an advanced anomaly detection, which is using as sources, multiple and different sources, able to combine them, and most importantly, able to have an enhanced data synthesis, let's say. With AI, we are able to combine data to create examples of data in order to make our predictions more accurate. In that way, with this kind of synthesis, we can, let's say, we can reduce the false positive predictions for the guys that love statistics.
Yes, reducing false positive is very important because it also has to do with just-in-time maintenance that definitely helps reduce costs. So this is very important. Okay. Anything
Going
else?
forward,
Perfect.
let's go to the next case, which is investment analysis for renewable energy and energy storage. So this is also one of the most hot, let's say, topics in the energy sector, right? What we could do using AI is forecasting financial performance and pinpointing the risks. And again, this is not something that we reinvented the wheel. We could do it before, but now we could do it faster. We could do it with less risk. We could do it with robust approaches and using complex systems. Many benefits from this kind of approaches and this kind of implementations. First of all, we automating a complex analysis process using GenAI, of course, which reduce, as we said, significantly the time and the resources which are required for the investment evaluations. And secondly is the risk mitigation. When you do an investment analysis, you understand that one of the most important things is to minimize or even eliminate the risk. Of course, we cannot eliminate the risk, but we can minimize it. And with GenAI's predictive capabilities, companies now are able to identify and mitigate potential risks associated with renewable energy investments, of course. And very important is the scalability. AI, by its definition, has a very good scalable nature, if I might say. So we are able to analyze large data sets, explore various investment scenarios. So we use different sources, we use different unstructured data. So we optimize the strategic planning of the investment, and it gives us more, let's say, robust predictions.
Yes. So Dimitri, any examples in this front?
Yeah, indeed there are. I would use a couple of, not from energy sector, but since we are talking about investments, I will use one of the global leaders in investments, Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs were one of the first companies that they used AI in order to automate parts of their financial analysis. This leads to a considerable cost saving and increase their efficiency. And even now they are optimizing in-house and outsource AI different capabilities in order to incorporate in the rest of their activities. This is for the cost reduction, right? For the scalability, what I can think of is Siemens, which they use an AI to analyze the vast amount of data. Siemens, they have many activities related to wind turbines, right? So they recently adopted AI capabilities in order to optimize the performance and predict the investment that they need to do in wind turbines and similar, renewable energy activities.
Okay, this is Dimitri. This is a very interesting part here, and we're talking about large investments that somebody would ask how much, what is the security, accuracy, and reliability behind this one? Because we're talking about a model that will be introduced with some data. Potentially, this data will hide some uncertainties and complexities when it comes to this renewable energy and energy storage projects. how can we make sure that these models, these GenAI solutions, will generate accurate results and thus ensure that whoever needs to make a decision about investing based on those will feel secure that the return on investment will be something achievable?
Yeah. Good question. I think this is the time that we need to say that AI will not take over the world. So even as far as the models that we are building regarding Gen AI, right? And complex input, complex algorithms, complex outputs, everything needs to be coordinated by the human factor. So we will have data, we will have data-driven outputs, but we will have also, advanced machine learning models. Let's say that we will have the best data quality and integration activities, so we secure that our data are great. In this kind of activities, when we are talking about investments, we need definitely somebody to bring the business inside. We need somebody to learn about the market changes, to adapt the market conditions, to adapt also project variables. This continuous learning and this continuous adaptation needs to be completed by a human, which they need to input data to the models. This as far as we consider the input, right? So during the models, we need to have, a sensitivity testing and analysis. So we need to evaluate the impact of different variables, the weights that we need to put in order to consider how important we consider them in our investment analysis. And lastly, but very extremely important, is validation and cross verification. So you've done all that. You have your data, you have your data quality, you have your input, you have your algorithm, you have even your output. So who is going to evaluate your output? What's the decision that we need to take? So we need somebody expert to translate models output into actionable insights, to actual actions that we are going to go ahead with our investments.
This is good to hear, Dimitri, because a lot of us are considering that Gen AI models can get as input anything and everything, and it's a good thing to hear from you as well that the human factor cannot be abolished in any way, and either regarding inputs or regarding outputs, some human intervention needs to be there in order to qualify what the model is trained upon, and also to qualify what the output is. Okay, it makes sense.
If we go to the next one, well, I really like this one, right? So what we're essentially discussing here in this case is a knowledge base, right? And decision support. What we want to do using GenAI is to synthesize integrated data. We can develop an intelligent, and I'm emphasizing intelligent chatbot, which is accessible to all companies' employees. What's the added value here, right? It's not the actual creation of the chatbot. This has happened many years before, so this is not something new. What it is new is the way that we use this chatbot, the way we teach, and the way we train this chatbot in order to be as much as efficient as it can be. So using Gen AI, we are creating a powerful chatbot, let's say, right? So we can have quick access to comprehensive and accurate information. and we can rely on the quality of the answers in order to have the respective decisions, right? So it expedites, let's say, the decision making. One of the most important, in my opinion, is the second one, right? The knowledge retention. All of the companies, more retention, other companies, less retention, it doesn't matter. But you have an employee rotation. Some employees leave, some employees retired. So what we try to accomplish here, again, using GenAI to create a very good, flexible chatbot, which will be able to preserve and easily retrieve, of course, critical information. A very good example of this is ExxonMobil. They use AI to retain and transfer knowledge from more experienced employees, which are retired, to their substitutes. It's a very good use of the chatbot. Last but not least is efficient and productivity. So imagine that you need to acquire an information. So you need to go to 2 departments, ask 10 different people, got contradicting information, write them down to a notebook, to your laptop, everything remember by heart, doesn't matter. All of this time, cost, and effort can be summarized in a couple of seconds effort. So you have a colleague, let's say, that knows everything and can reply nearly everything.
We all have colleagues like this, Dimitri, even without GenAI, right?
Sometimes, yes.
Dimitri, now all industries, or most of the industries, and especially the energy sector, is moving in a very fast pace, right? And we have new data sources coming in at an extremely fast pace. So how do you think that these GenAI models can be trained with the most up-to-date data in order to ensure that the real-time information that they are providing is also up-to-date and not based on some stale piece of information that should have been replaced?
Yeah, I will be the boring guy. I will say again the human factor, but okay. Seriously, indeed, we need to maintain those kind of systems. AI, Gen AI, machine learning can go currently up to a point. They need, let's say, some food in order to predict well, to give great results. So what we can do is to have people that will be able to preserve those kind of systems. From technical perspective, automated data pipelines, for example, or real-time data processing. We are saying those phrases again and again, but they are very crucial. I mean, if you have a data flow, which runs without, as much as possible, any errors or any stoppers, then you will get a very quick information whenever you want. But again, you need to understand and you need to adapt the new information, right? You should have version controlling in your systems. You should use regular updates. You can, because imagine this is a system, and I'm talking specifically for GenAI chatbot, that it use both structural and unstructural data. What I mean by structural and unstructured data, I mean that they use data, tables, in a database. So we have columns, rows, and the algorithms read these tables, but we have also unstructured data. We have images, we have snapshots from cameras, we have sketches, we have voicemails, we have everything. So, and this is the very good from for GenAI. We can use everything as an input, so as to produce a very good, robust, and sophisticated output. A very good example of this is Mayo Clinic, right? Again, not in the energy sector, but it's very, very important to say this kind of example. I really like it. It's from healthcare industry. So Mayo Clinic, what they have implemented, and again, this is just a hospital, and they have already incorporated Gen AI activities. They used this kind. They built not in house, but they built a Gen AI chatbot, and now doctors have instant access to patient histories, research papers, clinical guidelines. So every doctor, nurse, or any personnel inside the hospital, they are easily can find nearly everything in a very short of the time. So this is very important to not the client, but to the final people which you are using Mayo Clinic, which are the actual people, the patients.
Yes, yes, this is very important. Obviously, I'm thinking that some privacy issues might arise here, but this is a topic to be addressed on a per case basis. If you're looking into and accumulating, summarizing information, private health information of users. So this is something that we should keep an eye for in when you're dealing with such sensitive information. But what I was thinking here, Dimitri, is that Gen AI itself potentially has changed the way that data are being summarized and accumulated in order to be used as training data set for the Gen AI model that will create this knowledge base, right? So any thoughts on this one? For example, Copilot log files or things like that.
Yeah, indeed, this is true. What we are facing in the future is that we are securing information. And okay, to be honest, information is indeed power for a company and of course its employees. If you have robust information, if you have information across the company and know what to address, when to address it, and this is going to be correct, then you can expedite your decision making. You can be more certain in your actions, whatever actions they are, even in house, even an investment, even building a product, everything. You can incorporate everything in a knowledge database, and this database will always be up to date and will be always able to provide you the most recent and truthful, let's say, information.
Okay, it's let's. This is very interesting to see that you can use some Gen AI capabilities to produce data that will be used as input for another Gen AI process. This is a very interesting concept. Okay, thank you for that.
I left for the last one the most, let's say, selling point application, right? So market intelligence, campaign optimization. The productized companies, of course, all the energy sector is something like this. They need to. They have. There is a need to use, let's say, market intelligence capabilities in order to optimize their campaigns. And again, this is not something new. This is not that Gen AI is reinventing the wheel. We had many velocities, many different approaches regarding marketing intelligence. What Gen AI does here is, again, it has the possibility to use things in real time complex input, complex output. So real-time marketing insights can be provided by GenAI. And we are talking about continuous real-time analysis. Market trends, conditions, anything you name it. I mean, this will enable, of course, the marketeers to act faster, to have a decision-making process much quicker than before. For example, BP uses AI to monitor global oil markets. And BP is one of the fastest oil companies that can adjust in the market. They react swiftly in order to change and optimize their trading strategies. And this is actually the reason that they are one of the, if not the leader, one of the top three leaders in oil market. Of course, you have benefits optimizing marketing campaigns, accurate, data-driven insights. With Gen AI, leads better returns of investments. So what you do is you can see with Gen AI how to invest and which is the best channel or channels in order to invest and to have the best return. Chevron, for example, they use it widely in their marketing campaigns. Um, and last but not least, the analysis to specific needs, and I would say not analysis, the tailor-made analysis to the specific needs. They focusing in particular regions or commodity or even marketing conditions. So we are talking about a differentiation approach focused in cost and in better results. So what the companies use Gen AI for that is to focus in marketing campaigns in specific tailor-made products by region, by conditions, market conditions, or anything. Shell is using this kind of approach uh, many years now, and they have used AI the couple 2-3 years in order to expedite things in this kind of approach.
Yes, this is very interesting, Dimitri, because you still maintain the data science part, the ML side of this, in order to identify relationships between vast amount of data, and Gen AI is coming as a cherry on top that instead of using heuristics or business rules in order to get prompted with the action that should be taken, you have Gen AI that is proposing this based on data, vast amounts of data, internal and external, that is being considered. So since we're talking about both internal and external data, okay, external data are public data. Potentially, they cannot be. They are quality data. Since they are public data regarding demographics or anything else that might be relevant to market intelligence. But when it comes to internal data, what do we do regarding data quality of legacy systems that the company might have that might be of questionable quality? Because the combination of internal and external data is the key differentiator factor for GenAI to produce recommendations overall classified as quality recommendations for market intelligence. What do you do about the poor data quality?
Yeah, indeed, it's a very difficult and uh, frequent, more than we think, problem regarding the quality data. But let me break them down in two different categories. Right? So is the data quality part, and is the legacy systems part. The data quality part is either internal or even external. We need to, let's say, to perform some kind of data quality management. And we know these techniques for many years now. We are implementing and try to have validation techniques, data cleansing techniques, everything that it will secure, let's say, the high quality of the data, or even filtering erroneous information, outdated information. What GenAI does is that GenAI takes these kind of techniques and it enhances them to more sophisticated techniques. I mean that the combination of these techniques and the ability of GenAI to learn by its mistakes, it secures, let's say, a higher quality of data. We are, and I will be completely honest here, we are not eliminating the issue. Experience-wise, I've met very few ETLs, very few data sources that has no data quality issues. We are not eliminating the problem, but we are minimizing the problem than before. So this is a very, very good step towards to the elimination. This is the data quality part, right? So from the other hand, we have the legacy systems. Indeed, many companies and companies which are not very, they are not in the edge of technology, let's say, they have a lot of legacy systems. And this is where the benefit of GenAI comes, right? GenAI has a widest variety of robust APIs, data connectors that can be used in order to connect to legacy systems. In some legacy systems, it is indeed very easy. In others, it is not. But as in data quality also, legacy systems are old, so we need to adjust our models, our connectors, our APIs in order to bring to ingest the data. Comparing to previous technologies, AI and Gen AI has, if I might say, nearly double of capabilities in terms of connecting to legacy systems.
Okay,
I hope I answered your question.
yeah, I think you did. Thank you very much for this, Dimitri. This is a very interesting case regarding market intelligence again. And thank you for showcasing this small example of these 4 use cases for the oil and gas industry. I think this concludes the use case part. And let's move on to the next section before we go to the Q&A. Because I think it's important to touch upon the how. So this is a daunting experience for a lot of us, right? So how do I start? And here we're drawing from our experience. The way that it's recommended to do that is to have some impact assessment firstly, identify the processes that the organization is using, and identify what is the potential impact of GenAI in its step of these processes, and then move to some sort of executive workshops where you identify the data that you already have as well, and evaluate a set of AI capabilities and select the ones that will be producing the largest impact based on the previous step of the impact assessment. Based on those 2 steps, you have the possibility to actually develop a strategy roadmap of where you want to go, which data, which processes, and which use cases you want to use. And finally, this is the step of actually moving from a POC to actual production and operationalization step in order to actually produce a competitive advantage. Because without operationalizing this, POCs are good in paper, will not provide any competitive differentiator to the company if you're only using POCs. Any comments on this one, Dimitri? Because we're running a bit out of time. Maybe we can.
Yeah. A quick comment. We are driving a lot of companies in a lot of industries about for this Gen AI journey, right? So many of the companies are a bit reluctant in terms of in terms of if it works to continue. So this approach is the optimal, cost wise, technology wise, business wise, everything. So you first step, you evaluate, then you learn what you need to do, then you decide what you do, and then you do it. So this is a building block, let's say, roadmap, which secures you, let's say, the minimum testing, if I might say, of AI and how it will be, how it works into each company.
Okay, it makes sense. This outlines an overall roadmap about how to where to start, how to go about starting, and until from ideation, from impact assessment to POC and operationalization. So there is a roadmap for this one as well to guide any organization that needs to or wants to jump on the GenAI wagon. But what the next topic is reluctant people to jump into this wagon, right? So we're talking about GenAI that is somewhat of a groundbreaking, transformational new technology that will disrupt the way people are operating into their day-to-day lives. And obviously there will be some resistance to change, some reluctancy to accept results and to change the way that we're working and incorporate Gen AI to this standard operating procedures of organizations. So here again, you need to have some kind of change management process to follow you through this. And the way to do this is initially to go about setting adoption strategy metrics, organizing adoption trainings, explain to key resources the benefits, have some key stakeholders as champions of this one, and starting top down, have this cultural transformation that will make the organization more open to change. And you need to do this only after understanding the huge benefits that Gen AI can produce. Obviously, not every plan goes as initially expected, and this is where adoption recovery comes in. When you have such a plan of setting KPIs, having an adoption plan, discussing about cultural transformation, if it doesn't fall into place, then you go back to adoption recovery. You understand, try to rerun the circle in a small scale, understand how where this went wrong, recalibrate a few inputs in order to be successful in getting the best levels of adoption for these new Gen AI models. Okay, we have 10 more minutes. I guess this is time to go to Q&A. Let's see if there are any questions from our audience. Okay, I'm seeing a question here. The first thing that probably we should address is what I see here. What is the added value to use Gen AI compared to AI and ML? I think we touched upon this, but Dimitri, some thoughts on this one?
Yeah, we had a small mention on that during the speech. Indeed, there is a difference in terms of context and in terms of combining things. So the first and foremost, I would say, is this contextual understanding Gen AI has comparing to ML, right? Gen AI can can comprehend and generate a human-like text, making interactions more natural, like comparing, let's say, to ML. A very good example is the chatbot before AI and the chatbot after AI. So we all remember how chatbot were like 5 years ago, right? So we had to mention very specific keywords, and we had a robotized, let's say, answers. But with GenAI, is this exactly human-like text that it responds like a human. You can actually have a conversation with GenAI and have the information that you need. This is one of the most important. The other is the automation of the complex tasks, right? GenAI can automate complex tasks, so you can have complex input but complex output. Before that, it was complex input but simple output. This is very important to research, to energy, to healthcare, because they need to have different decisions with different probabilities. So that helps a lot using GenAI. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, I hope you did as well. I think this was an accurate answer. We still have some time, so let's go through the next question that we see here. This is a more elaborate question. How long does it take to train an AI model, duration, resources, and how do you calculate expected ROI, return on investment? Remember, we have 8 more minutes, Dimitri.
Okay. Okay. The simple answer is it depends. I know that you will not like this answer, but in any case, it can take from few days till months, right? It depends on how complex are your data, how complex is the output that you want to achieve. Initially, what you are doing is quick wins. So you are building things upon things upon things. So what we usually do is we creating a model which is good, I would say, and with iterations we optimize it. I would say that the expected ROI on that is up to a point. You cannot optimize it for the eternity and your ROI will be increasing. No, it will be up to a point. Depends on the market that you are. I know that it is a vague answer, but it's the truth.
Okay. Thank you for being direct and fast on this one. So let's go to one more last question. Again, very pragmatic one. Can I use a GenAI model if we don't have enough historical data?
Before GenAI, I would say no. Now I would say yes. Yes, with an asterisk. One of the great capabilities of GenAI is to be able to generate synthetic data, right? Based on known patterns, simulations, on external sources, and similar things. So you can build an AI with not having historical data. It would be better to build an AI having historical data.
Okay, it makes sense.
I'm a little bit fast because
thank you for respecting everyone's time here, Dimitri, and thank you for the direct answers. So before we conclude, let's move to the next topic, which is our next event. So as we said in the beginning, this is today's our first event of the series of events regarding GenAI from idea to reality. And we're going to be having, before summer, one more event regarding hospitality, tourism, and recreation. This will be held on 4th of July. And we're going to be talking about a compelling business use case. We're going to be able to dig into the solution architecture and have a live demo of a very transformative chatbot tailored for this industry. We will be very privileged to have two data solution architects for this presentation next month. It will be Attila Sux from Hungary and our very own Konstantinos Kitsaras. So you will be able to learn more about an actual case of GenAI chatbot and learn a few more things about the architecture of this solution. Also, let me introduce to you in the next slide another event that our sister community, delivery management community in Greece, is launching. This is the delivery management enhanced by GenAI on June 27th. That will be discussing the capabilities of GenAI for managers, how decision making process is being changed with GenAI, and we'll introduce some practical examples of usage in actual projects. Finally, I'd like to again thank you everyone for joining our call today. Please do not forget to join the DataZen community and reach out to us if you want to be part of presenting your ideas or contribute in any way. And for this specific topic, Dimitris and myself will be open to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you very much for joining us today. Have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you all. Thank you, Vasily, for
Thank
having
you,
me
everyone.
here.
Thank you, Dimitri.
Cheers.